I want to talk to the kids. Parents watch the video and then hand the phone over to the young kids. Hi there. I get asked a lot, are you a boy or a girl? And I love that question. And so I wanted to just tell you, sometimes human beings are more than boy or girl. Sometimes we're something else. Sometimes we're both. Sometimes we kind of float in between, and sometimes we're a boy, sometimes we're a girl, because human beings are creatures and we're wild and exciting. But I want to ask you a favor. If you see a kid like me or an adult like me, would you be extra nice to them? Would you do me a favor and be very, very kind? Yeah, like anybody, we can feel lonely. And so if you're kind to us, it would be really, really important.
Okay guys, this video is going to be a bit long.
Stop telling trans people that we're inspirational.
Stop telling kids to go on your Patreon and chat to you privately without their parents knowing.
And then a lot of people made stitches of me saying I'm transphobic, I've done a lot of bad stuff, they've even attacked my scarf, my religion, a lot of bad stuff, which I don't want to go into. And these people have also said they are not talking to the kids. Okay, so I did a little bit of digging.
Hi, kids. Hey, kids. I want to talk to the kids. Hi, kids. Hey, kids.
So yeah, there's a lot of videos of them addressing kids. Now, the main video I want to talk about.
Your parents screwed up. It's okay to say so. That's why I made a Patreon.
So you want to talk to kids whose parents have screwed up? Why? Why you want to talk to these particular kids? Why?
That's why I made a Patreon, so that we could talk about it, so that we could connect in a way that has more privacy, so that we could talk to each other in a way that's more open and stuff that we wouldn't share like in the comments of a video like this. I think you're worthy. And
so you want to talk to kids on a social media platform privately about topics that cannot be talked about in the video of TikTok's comments sections. Because why? Why you want to do that? Why you can't chat about these topics in these comments? Is it because it might get flagged or something? What could be the reason? Could this be one of the reasons? Going no contact with the kids' parents? Because you say in one of your videos how kids can go no contact with their parents. So you teach kids how to go no contact with their parents? Is that what you're teaching them on Patreon? Or is it this? You're teaching this more on, because this video might get flagged. That's why I don't want to say the word. And this is Jeffrey Marsh's Patreon. You talk about this topic with kids. Now here are just some of the signs of grooming. Literally one of the first ones, gaining access and isolating the victim. Asking them privately to go on Patreon and talking to them privately so you can connect. And then showing these kids that you trust them, you love them, you'll keep their secrets and to keep them isolated from their parents. And then the icing on the cake is this video.
hi, beautiful. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
No, you can't. You are a stranger on the internet. You are not their family. Oh, and another thing. You can turn off age restrictions on Patreon. So kids can go to Jeffrey Marsh's, their Patreon.
Jeffrey Marsh, what gives you the right to encourage my children not to come to me with their problems or their issues with their identity? Jeffrey Marsh, I gotta say that, I find your behavior very disturbing and whatnot, that you would try to separate, children from their parents, okay? In any way, in any form or whatnot. I find it reprehensible that you would do something like this. I don't know if you have any education in psychology or anything, but I just find it troublesome that you would encourage children not to confide in their own parents. The parents who are the reason for their existence on the planet. You know, I have two children, Jeffrey. I got two boys. All right, and my first son, when he was on his way, when he was on the way to be born, where I was living at, you know, I'm from the south side of Chicago, right? Where, where I was living at, there was an economic depression and whatnot, like a shadow recession, in the late 80s. And there were no opportunities, so I was forced to join the military. I would have never done this if the woman that I was with wasn't with child, and I had limited opportunities to provide for that child. So I sucked it up and I went and joined the military. And then later, I was obliged to travel to the West Coast seeking opportunities, better opportunities than I had where I was born and raised. All right, and I did all of that for my son. All right, for my son first and foremost, because I wanted him to have an opportunity, for a better life than I had. I grew up in a middle class family. I grew up in a nuclear family that became a single parent household. I grew up in that. Okay, all right. I know the importance of parents and being able to go and talk to your parents, Stephen. All right, I know that. I don't know if you know that though. All right, as far as my other child goes, he was uh he was our miracle baby, okay? And I went to all the doctor appointments with my wife, and we were worried that she wouldn't be able to carry him to term, and she managed to do that, and she has, it's a miracle baby. They literally told us it's a miracle baby. And I'm not going to get into details because that's my own personal life, but I thought I would share it with you and not that all day we had went through, the traveling back and forth to the hospital and going to see, fertility doctor and everything, going to see all this, talking to specialists, luckily I was covered on my insurance and whatnot. And I was there in the room when my second son was born and whatnot. They took him out of her and handed him directly to me. All right. I was the first person he ever saw. Okay. And I talk to my son every day. Every day. I counsel him. I teach him. I parent him. I love him. You know, who are you to come into my household in any form and encourage him not to confide in me any issues that he might have, questions that he might have. I think that's the realm of the parents and the family, okay, and licensed professionals. I don't know what your pedigree is. I'm not gonna waste my time looking this up and whatnot because, you know, I know at this point, right now, you've labeled me as some kind of istaphobe, some kind of transphobe, whatnot, and that's not fair, Jeffrey. That's not fair. You know why it's not fair? Because I'm black, okay? And it wouldn't matter if I was any color, but like especially because I'm black. And my parents come from the pre-civil rights South, okay? They came to Chicago during the white flight and my dad bought his first house when he was 30 and whatnot. And shit happened from there. Okay? You imagine what they went through in their childhood. They're close knit. Our people were forced to get along because we were embattled and whatnot. We still are, that we still are on some level today and whatnot. And you talk about your rights and your fight and everything. But, I don't want to hear anything from you, honestly, because I want to hear what you think about my people being made whole again. Okay. What do you think about that? Now, if you don't agree with me, can I call you a racist? Okay. Can I say that you're a bigot? You know, can I say that? When I was a little kid, I used to hear my mother talk about something called rape gangs. Yeah, rope gangs. There's those guys, driving around in groups and cars looking for, black women to have their way with, and how they had to be careful going to school and coming back and forth if their fathers wasn't around with their gun. Okay, this is Jim Crow South. All right, pre-civil rights. My parents lived through the civil rights. I was born at the end of it when they killed all the leaders. They killed the real leaders of our community. I was born at it and whatnot. And, decades later, you guys came and you attached yourself to our struggle and you got everything you wanted. And now you want to come into my house and you want to tell my children they don't need to talk to me because you're there for them. But you wasn't there when we conceived these children. You wasn't there with go to all the hospital visits with my wife where she worried about, whether or not she would be able to carry the baby to term. You wasn't there. You wasn't there that when I taught each one of my sons, when I potty trained them and I taught them how to put the clothes on, I taught them how to tie up their shoes. You weren't there, but you want to tell my children that it's okay not to talk to me, to confide, to go to a secret place, to speak with you about your issues, about your how you self-identify, and I guess most importantly about your sexuality and what you do behind closed doors. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? This is all I'm asking and whatnot. Okay, you guys have a level of protection that is unheard of outside certain ethnic community and shit. Okay, unheard of, second only to that particular community. And I just want to know. I just want to know if you think it's fair. Okay, when you tell me about your struggle and how you feel about things, I'm going to ask you, well, how do you feel about black people getting reparations? And I want to see what you have to say. All right, I've encountered many people in your community over the years. I've encountered some good and some extremely bad, extremely bad. Okay, that I've actually been called an N-word a number of times by unprompted, by the way, by trans women. Okay, I've had trans women sneer at me and do all this stuff, but you don't see me online making a bunch of videos about that or attacking your community. All right, but I'm just worried because you want to come into my community, okay, and you want to start there as a canary in the coal mine. All right, you want to tell my children that I've been there for every day when they're here, when they're sick, when they feel good, when they have questions, when they're being bad, when they're being good. I've been there every day. And I haven't seen you one day. But you think it's okay to tell my children that they don't need to talk to me, that they can come to your private page and push a few buttons, they can get past the parental controls to talk to you on your private, website behind a paywall. All right, do you think that's okay? I don't know how I feel about it. I just think it's wrong. And I think, if you were any kind of a moral person, you would think it's wrong too. But I guess for you, it's all about your politics and, and what you want to do and how you feel about things. It's extremely selfish. Okay, it's extremely selfish and whatnot. I can't allow you to interfere in my family. Okay, these are my children. I'm raising these children. Okay, all right, to varying degrees of success. Okay, I have one that's the eldest is an adult already, and he's seen so much in his life. All right, he's someone that he can talk to you because he's an adult, but my other child is not, and I keep a tight watch over him. Okay, he's I'm in his shadow, looking over his shoulder at all times. All right, whenever possible. All right, by any means necessary. Okay. All right, I think you might really want to reflect on that and how you sound. How you sound. If you don't want people to be istaphobes and fear mongers and everything, think about the message that you're delivering. Okay? And consider this that someone calling you out on these points resulted in a Muslim woman being doxxed and terrorized until she changed her stance online. That's why I posted the second clip. All right? All right? Think about it, okay? Think about it. Think about don't be a fascist. All right? This is what I'm telling you. All right? You cannot talk to my children without me there. Okay? And I don't think you want to talk to my son, my younger son. I don't think you want to talk to him if you saw my face. All right? Because I'm there. Okay? And if, whatever happens, he's going to come to me first, whether you like it or not.
You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep him from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair.